In today's news, bureaucratic technicalities threaten the progress of not only the Red Bull hit-and-run case, but also Thailand's cannabis economy. Meanwhile, an oil spill threatens Koh Samet's already fragile tourism sector. All this coming up in today's program. You're watching Thailand News Today, bringing you the top headlines in Thailand and beyond. And in today's news, prosecutors say time is running out to prosecute fugitive Red Bull heir Warayut Yuwitaya, and that they're unable to extradite him because they don't know what address to write down in the extradition warrant. Yes, that was the reason. The heir to the Red Bull energy drink empire was charged on 2 counts in the death of a Bangkok police officer killed in a hit-and-run collision with Warayut's Ferrari in 2012. The charge brought onto him for cocaine use is set to expire in September this year. Warayut has also been charged with reckless driving causing the death of another, with the statute of limitations on that charge expiring in 2027. According to Dr. Dumpon Pansamrit from the International Affairs Department, the case has not been referred to for extradition due to the fact that there is no confirmed address for Warayut, as he says several laws and treaties require a possible address as one of the 3 key conditions for extradition. The Office of the Attorney General says police have only sent them a copy of the court's arrest warrant, but it's an extradition warrant that they say they need before they can take any action to request extradition. Gotta love bureaucracy. Thailand's Deputy Prime Minister tells potential cannabis growers they should chill out for the moment, as a new law removing cannabis from Thailand's list of controlled drugs is not in effect as of yet. Wisanu Krungam also points out that the regulation only relates to some cannabis products, not all. The law will be implemented 120 days after it's been announced in the Royal Gazette. At this point, Wisanu says there will be more clarity provided on what constitutes the legal use of cannabis. On Tuesday, the Narcotics Control Board approved the Public Health Ministry's proposal that cannabis and hemp be legalized, with the exception of cannabis extracts containing more than 0.2% by weight of THC. How they can realistically enforce that, no one knows. Meanwhile, the Phumjai Thai Party of Health Minister Anutin Chanvirakul is proposing a bill to regulate the use of cannabis other than for medicinal or research purposes. However, this new law risks Thailand violating 3 international anti-narcotics conventions it previously signed up to date. According to the report, the oldest convention dates back to 1961 and requires legal enforcement against narcotics in signatory countries. The conventions prohibit the use of cannabis unless for medical or research purposes. But Wisanu believes the bill would help alleviate concerns and show the country remains vigilant and committed to keeping the use of cannabis in check. In simple terms, we just have to sit and wait while the bureaucrats attempt to fix previous bureaucracy with more bureaucracy. Let's just get on with the next story. Koh Samet's fragile tourism sector, already battered by the restrictions, now faces another threat from an oil spill heading for the island and nearby beaches. Sirintip Thapmongkhonsap from the Tourism Association of Kos Samet is reminded of a 2013 oil spill at the island's Ao Prao and is desperate to avoid a repeat scenario where locals had worked for years to clean it up. She goes on to say the beach's natural resources still have not recovered from the previous leak, and despite the incident taking place in just one area, the huge amount of crude oil led to poor air quality all over the island and affected tourism demand. The Pollution Control Department says up to 200,000 liters of the 400,000 liter spill are headed for Merampung Beach and the other beaches in the Khao Lam Ya and Mu Koh Samet National Park. The department says unless something can be done, the oil is scheduled to hit the shore tomorrow afternoon. Tourism has already been hard hit in the eastern province of Rayong, where Koh Samet is located, but Sarantip says the oil spill is potentially a bigger threat to tourism than the pandemic. It will mean tourists are unable to swim in the sea and seafood could be contaminated. She's urging the government to do whatever it takes to mitigate the damage. Efforts are continuing this morning to mitigate the fallout from a crude oil pipeline leak in the waters south of Pattaya off the coast of Rayong. The leak occurred at a mooring point off the coast where oil tankers load and offload. About 160,000 liters of oil started floating in the waters off the coast on Tuesday as the company, Star Petroleum Refining, tried to stop the oil reaching Rayong beaches. The Marine and Coastal Resources Department, the Navy, and other environmental agencies have been called in to mop up the potential environmental disaster. For Kos Samet, another tourism deterrent is the requirement to present a negative antigen test taken no more than 72 hours prior to arrival. According to recent reports, the rule is causing many tourists to change their travel plans and head elsewhere. Kos Samet currently receives between 300 and 500 visitors a day during the week, compared to 2,000 to 3,000 a day prior to the Omicron surge. According to Sarantip, hotel occupancy on weeknights hovers around the single digits. At weekends, the island welcomes between 1,000 and 2,000 visitors a day. In 2019, the island received an average of 10,000 tourists a day. Road safety advocates are demanding tougher punishment, including manslaughter charges for drivers who fail to observe pedestrian crossing rules. 30 members of various road safety networks gathered at Government House to file a petition with Deputy Prime Minister Prawit Wongsuwan, who chairs the National Committee on Road Safety Policy and Prevention. The move is in response to the death of a female Bangkok ophthalmologist as she was using a zebra crossing on Payatai Road in Bangkok last Friday. Dr. Waralak Supawat Jariyakun was struck by a Ducati motorbike ridden by a 21-year-old off-duty police officer, Norawit Buadok. Her death created public uproar over the ongoing dangers of attempting to use pedestrian crossings in Thailand. A member of the Life Quality Development Network said that a Road Safety Policy Foundation study shows that around 500 people are killed every year in accidents at such crossings in Thailand. This amounts to 6% of road traffic deaths, with a third occurring in Bangkok. She says road safety advocates will be keeping a keen eye on the investigation into Walalak's death, pointing out that drivers who violate traffic laws often end up with suspended sentences. Her concerns are echoed by a member from a network affiliated with the Don't Drive Drunk Foundation, who says pedestrians have a right to be able to cross the road safely at designated crossings. He wants the law changed so that drivers who cause the death of a pedestrian using a zebra crossing can be charged with manslaughter. A 27-year-old was found lying in a puddle of his own blood on Pattaya Beach with his face severely injured. A beach vendor nearby found the man at around 11:30 p.m. last night after he heard men yelling. The vendor told responders that he did not clearly see the man being beaten, but he heard three men arguing about money. The incident happened by the Central Festival shopping center. The vendor says he rushed over, but the men were gone and the 27-year-old was lying beaten on the ground. The victim was taken to a local hospital for treatment. Reports say the man appeared to be severely intoxicated. Police officers are now reviewing CCTV footage in the area. No arrests have been made so far. This is the second time in recent weeks that a person has been allegedly assaulted on Pattaya Beach. Earlier this month, a Swedish man was slapped and threatened while sipping a beer alone on the beach. In a separate incident, or not, authorities don't know yet, police arrested a shirtless foreign man at a supermarket the same night in South Pattaya. The man allegedly harassed locals by shouting and trying to pick fights. Police say he seemed very intoxicated. They eventually arrested the man and brought him to the station to slap him with multiple legal charges. And that's all for this report. Thailand News Today will be back tomorrow. Meanwhile, you're now up to date on the Thaiger.